71, Sage Mode by Yagyu Satoru. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After one day, the bright moon is in the sky, and the stars are dotted. In the land of fire, there is a vast forest border. Everyone in the 7th class sat in front of the fire. Teacher Lu Sheng, you promised me before that as long as I can learn to seduce, you will teach me a stronger Rinnegan, right? Uchiha Sasuke put his hands in his pockets and looked at Yagyu Satoru with a cold face. Yagyu Satoru sat on the ground with his back leaning on the tree trunk and crossed his legs, flipping through the pages of Intimate Paradise, and casually said, "Well, that's right. I've already learned it." Uchiha Sasuke is cold on the surface, but he is very embarrassed in his heart. He has completely learned the so-called seduction technique, very simple. It's just transformation. Even Yagyu Satoru was slightly taken aback. What he said casually at that time did not expect Sasuke to take it seriously. Uchiha kid, do you still have this habit? Uchiha Sasuke, kid, is he in a hurry to become stronger now? Uchiha Sasuke frowned slightly, and retorted, you told me, so I went to study. TSK, even learn to seduce in order to gain strength. Yagyu Satoru smacked his lips, put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder, and said earnestly, you child, maybe you can save the world. Boundary. Teacher Lu Xing 12, stop making trouble. Uchiha Sasuke took away Yagyu Satoru's hand and said coldly, I'll show it to you, and let me gain power immediately. Since he was completely abused by Uchiha Itachi, he realized the difference in history. I am very anxious to get a powerful force. Sasuke, are you serious? Haruno Sakura was stunned for a moment, then looked at Sasuke in disbelief. In her heart, Sasuke is a very cold person. Every time Naruto uses sex, Sasuke will sneer, but now Sasuke actually wants to use a very obscene seduction technique. God! If Sasuke uses this trick, the aloof image he established in the past will completely collapse, but, want to see? I really want to see it. Haruno Sakura wants to see, Sasuke uses seduction. TCH, bastard, your seduction is far worse than mine. Uzumaki Naruto folded his hands on his chest and said with a smug expression, my seduction is the strongest move that can beat Grandpa 3rd generation. I only use it once. Uchiha Sasuke ignored Naruto and little Sakura, gritted his teeth with embarrassment in his eyes, and due to his emotional excitement, 3 Tomo Sharingan appeared. For strength, bear with it. Oh. Try it. Yagyu Satoru closed the book and looked at Sasuke with great interest. Even he was curious, with the character of the Uchiha kid, what would happen after seducing him. Uchiha Sasuke hands Midra. Bang, pale smoke appeared, covering Uchiha Sasuke's whole body. In full view, the smoke dispersed. Uchiha Sasuke has already turned into a top royal lady. He has black hair, combed into a pair of ponytails behind his back, fair skin like snow, and a bumpy figure, good face, cold expression. Okay. Give me strength. Uchiha Sasuke raised his chin and looked at Yagyu Satoru grimly. Sasuke. Haruno Sakura stared at Sasuke in a daze, moved her mouth and finally couldn't say anything. Yagyu Satoru touched his chin, looked at Sasuke lightly, then put up a sign and said with a smile, 3 points for body, 4 points for personality, and 7 points. After Uchiha's transformation, he still has a cold and pretended character, but after becoming a woman, this character is still a bit pleasing. Shout big brother and listen. Yagyu Satoru said, Sasuke, in the form of Uchiha, said coldly, I don't have time to mess around with you. Yagyu Satoru raised the corners of his mouth slightly, and said with a threatening face, you also want to become stronger? Shout it, be a little sweet. Cut. Uchiha Sasuke gritted his teeth, slowly clenched his fist, forcibly suppressed the anger in his heart, and said coldly, turning his head. Yagyu Satoru couldn't help laughing out loud, took out his camera and took a picture of Sasuke, covered his mouth and snickered, no wonder that Tsundere character is so lovable, so funny. Ha ha ha, Sasuke, you, ha 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 ha. Uzumaki Naruto held his stomach, pointed at Sasuke and laughed, Sasuke, you use sex to seduce, it's too funny. Idiot. Sasuke in the form of Uchiha turned his head and glanced coldly at Uzumaki Naruto. With just this one glance, Uzumaki Naruto was stunned. He stared blankly at Sasuke in the form of Gaoling Uchiha, and his heartbeat gradually accelerated. This feeling is exactly the same as when I fell in love with little Sakura. Yagyu Satoru appeared behind Naruto, raised his hand to his mouth, and imitated Naruto's tone and said, "Oh no, it's a feeling of heartbeat." Uzumaki Naruto blushed in embarrassment, holding his head and yelling loudly, "Mr. Lu Sheng, bastard, don't speak my mind." "Humph, Teacher Lu Sheng, give me strength." Uchiha Sasuke lifted his transformation, put his hands in his pockets and looked at Yagyu Satoru coldly. "Little kid is really troublesome." Yagyu Satoru sighed. He thought he could calm down for a few days, but he never expected that the Uchiha kid actually went to learn how to seduce. "Sit down." Yagyu Satoru pointed to the ground. Everyone in the 7th class sat on the ground. "First of all, Uchiha kid, what attribute did you choose?" Lu Xingyu asked. "Any attribute can be injected into Rasengan, but you need to learn an attribute first." "All," said Uchiha Sasuke, who has fire and lightning attributes and wants to learn them all. "Choose one." Yagyu Satoru said speechlessly. "Fire attribute or thunder attribute, which Rasengan is more powerful?" Uchiha Sasuke wondered. Yagyu Satoru stroked his chin, thinking seriously, for Rasengan only, the power of the fire attribute is even greater. Lightning-style Rasengan leans more towards control. For Rasengan only, the wind attribute is the most powerful, and the fire attribute ranks second. "I choose the fire attribute." Uchiha Sasuke said coldly. He wanted to choose the most powerful attribute. Since lightning-style Rasengan belongs to control, it will lack attack means. Fire attribute. Before you learn Rasengan, you use the chakra attribute to burn the leaves first. Yagyu Satoru picked up a leaf, and a light blue chakra emerged from his fingertips. The leaves are covered with chakra and then burned with flames. Uchiha Sasuke picked up the leaves, and a light blue chakra emerged from his fingertips, but the leaves did not burn into flames. Imagine what it's like to use fire style. Yagyu Satoru reminds 627. Uchiha Sasuke closed his eyes and imagined, but still couldn't burn the leaves. "Go and play slowly." Yagyu Satoru waved his hand. "Humph." Uchiha Sasuke got up and walked towards the fire next to him, feeling that he had been tricked by Yagyu Satoru. After bearing the burden of humiliation and using seduction, what he got was actually such a simple exercise as burning leaves. Before injecting the chakra attribute into Rasengan, it is necessary to practice and use the chakra attribute flexibly. I couldn't think of such a simple thing. What can I learn?" Uzumaki Naruto raised his hand and looked at Yagyu Satoru expectantly. He remembered the teacher Lu Xing before, and said that he would teach him a very powerful move. "Fox kid, you should learn sex." Yagyu Satoru smiled slightly, with a pitiful expression on his face. Uzumaki Naruto hugged Yagyu Satoru and cried out, "Teacher Lu Xing, if this continues, I will be surpassed by Sasuke." "It's annoying, you learn Sage Mode." Yagyu Satoru kicked Uzumaki Naruto away with a light kick. "Sage Mode?" Uzumaki Naruto got up, with a puzzled expression on his face. "Although I don't understand, what is Sage Mode? But listening to the name should be very powerful, right? It's so troublesome. I'll just perform it once. Keep your eyes open." Yagyu Satoru clasped his hands together, and dark red lines appeared around his eyes. With Yagyu Satoru as the core, burst out a chakra containing huge natural energy, and cracks appeared on the ground. P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluations, kneel down. 72. Summoning Beast of Yagyu Satoru. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Crackling Yagyu Satoru is wearing a blue coat formed by thunder and lightning. The splashing natural energy pours on the ground, and the tender seedlings on the ground break out of eggs and become big trees. Scary chakra. Feeling the huge natural energy of Yagyu Satoru, everyone in the 7th class trembled, and there was a deep shock in their eyes. "What does it feel like? Indescribable." Teacher Lu Xing's current chakra has a very warm feeling, but it is also very scary. It is several times scarier than the chakra of Kisame and Uchiha Itachi, two Kage-level powerhouses. It's the first time I saw chakra, which contains the vitality. Uchiha Sasuke stopped practicing, and looked at Yagyu Satoru coldly, with a hint of shock in his eyes. Sage mode? Sage mode is probably better than the attribute Oyster Ball. If Uzumaki Naruto, an idiot, learns Sage mode, his strength will probably far exceed his own. Good, so handsome. After being shocked, Uzumaki Naruto saw little stars in his eyes, and looked at Yagyu Satoru, who was covered by lightning, with an expression of admiration. Sage mode, can I also learn such a handsome and cool incumbent model? If you can learn Sage mode, then every time you meet an enemy, you can stand out in front of little Sakura and Sasuke. Teacher Lu Xing, is Sage mode lightning style? Haruno Sakura looked puzzled, covering Yagyu Satoru's whole body with lightning-like clothes. Far away, Uchiha Sasuke pricked up his ears, waiting for Yagyu Satoru to answer the question. If Sage mode is lightning style, then Naruto is still learning. In the 7th class, he is the only one with thunder attribute. Sage mode has no attributes. If you want to ask about the thunder suit, I added special effects. Isn't it very handsome? Yagyu Satoru grabbed the thunderbolt suit and shook it. The splashed electric current left traces on the ground. Uzumaki Naruto breathed a sigh of relief. He almost thought that Sage mode was one of lightning styles just now. Sage mode is to absorb the chakra of nature, so as to strengthen the strength and the power of moves, which has nothing to do with the attributes of chakra. Yagyu Satoru took out a lollipop, unpacked it and threw it into his mouth, explaining Sage mode. How long one can last depends entirely on the individual chakra emperor. Yagyu Satoru can always maintain Sage mode, because the 6 eyes are not consumed. I understand. Uzumaki Naruto clasped his hands in front of his chest and nodded slightly with a serious expression. In fact, he didn't understand anything, he just knew that Sage mode is very powerful. Hey, let me show you once. Yagyu Satoru sighed. He could see Uzumaki Naruto and didn't understand a word. Fox kid, watch out. Yagyu Satoru raised his hand and aimed at the big tree in the distance. A light blue electric current appeared in the palm of his hand. Everyone in the 7th class watched carefully. 1,000 birds flow. The electric current in Yagyu Satoru's palm leaped out and blasted towards a big tree in the distance. Boom! The light blue electric current blasted a big tree into ashes, leaving a small pothole on the ground. This is an ordinary chakra, using the lightning style. Then how about using natural energy and using lightning style? Yagyu Satoru burst out natural energy, and a light blue electric current emerged in the palm of his hand again. Sage Art Chidori Stream. The current like a huge wave flew into the sky, and blasted towards the forest like a thunderbolt. Booming thunder and lightning fell on the ground, forming a violent explosion. The entire forest was annihilated, and a large pothole appeared on the ground. Okay, that's amazing. Everyone in the 7th class stared blankly into the distance with their eyes wide open. They were hit like a thunderbolt and blasted into a forest of medium and large potholes. Just this one blow is terrifying. They also now understand the role of Sage mode. It is obviously the same lightning style, but after using natural energy, the power has been increased by at least several times. Uzumaki Naruto nodded slightly with an expression that I understood, and said, yeah, I understand. Anyway, Sage mode is very powerful. He still doesn't understand, but he knows that Sage mode is very powerful. That's right, let's start learning. Yagyu Satoru cancelled Sage mode, and he was too lazy to continue explaining. Oh, when I learn this trick, boo boo boo. Uzumaki Naruto covered his mouth and snickered. He had already made up a picture in his brain: defeat Sasuke with Sage mode, and little Sakura looks adoring. Thinking about it is starting to be cool. Super idiot. Uchiha Sasuke snorted coldly, and then continued to practice, using the fire attribute chakra to burn leaves. Before learning Sage mode, you must first learn summoning. Yagyu Satoru took out a scroll. Summoning. Uzumaki Naruto was slightly stunned. He vaguely remembered that he had seen many people using summoning beasts before. Grandpa third generation, Kisame and others have all used summoning mon. Yagyu Satoru bit his thumb, a drop of blood flowed out, but the wound healed instantly. This is the seal of summoning, you keep it in my mind. Yagyu Satoru slowed down to seal the mudra, and then drew his hand to the ground. Bang, white smoke rose, and a white cat weighing 5 catties appeared out of thin air. Meow. The white cat licked its paws in a milky voice. It is the cat fairy, the cat god. Is this teacher Lu Xing's summoning beast? It's so cute. Haruno Sakura looked at the white kitten with a caring smile. Cat. Uzumaki Naruto was slightly taken aback. Cat. Yagyu Satoru said. Cat. The cat boss made an old voice. Teacher Lu Xing, are you kidding me? Uzumaki Naruto pointed at the white kitten with an attitude of being played, and shouted angrily, Grandpa third generation, and that shark bastard, their summoning beast, they are all very cool and handsome. You taught me summoning, what's the use of a stupid cat who looks weak? Uzumaki Naruto feels cheated, because other people's summoning beasts are either very handsome, or can be transformed into weapons, and this, Limo's, stupid cat who is only cute, there is a use for it. Master Lu Xing, may I smoke him? The white kitten stood on 2 feet like a human, lit a cigar, and exhaled a pale smoke. Smack it. Yagyu Satoru nodded with a smile. What kind of picture is this? The corner of Haruno Sakura's mouth moved slightly, looking at the cat boss who looked cute but had a cigarette in his mouth, she felt very speechless. Smelly brat, you want to call me Master Cat Fairy? The cat boss jumped up, and the one tail slapped heavily on Uzumaki Naruto's face. Crack! Uzumaki Naruto fell to the ground with a fiery red tail mark on his face. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. Uzumaki Naruto covered his painful face, got up and rushed towards the cat boss like a fried hare. The two wrestled together and Uzumaki Naruto was defeated in the end. P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluation tickets, knelt down. 74. The legendary big fat sheep, Tsunade. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Very good, only good children will have candies. Yagyu Satoru took out a lollipop, unpacked it and threw it into his mouth. Haruno Sakura was speechless. Teacher Lu Xing just finished speaking, only good children will have sweets. Then Teacher Lu Xing ate a piece of candy by himself. Who is this praising? In short, you now have 2 chakra storage, one is your own, and the other is the seal of Baihao. When your chakra is full, the excess chakra will be stored in the seal of Baihao, so as to increase the amount of chakra. Yagyu Satoru sipped the lollipop lightly, and said with a light smile, it's easy to understand, right? Haruno Sakura nodded slightly, she could indeed feel that chakra was flowing into Baihao's seal little by little. Teacher Lu Xing is indeed very powerful, and he was able to create a second chakra storage in the form of a seal, god. Is this the real powerhouse? Haruno Sakura asked with a very respectful attitude, Mr. Lu Xing, what should I do now? Flipping faces is faster than turning pages. Yagyu Satoru said speechlessly. Haruno Sakura smiled awkwardly, she must be respectful after getting the sweetness. Control chakra. Yagyu Satoru said. Manipulating chakra. We have learned it before. Haruno Sakura wondered, they had learned to control chakra before the 7th class, why are you still studying now? I'll just demonstrate it once. Yagyu Satoru raised a finger and touched the surface of the trunk of the big tree, with one flick. Bang! The big tree jumped out, smashed several big trees, and then fell heavily to the ground. Okay, so fierce, that everyone in the 7th class was dumbfounded. They all saw it just now. Teacher Lu Xing flicked his fingers lightly, but the power was so powerful that the whole big tree was blown away. Hiss. Uzumaki Naruto gasped, his back felt faintly cold, recalling the naughty scene with Mr. Lu Xing before, he felt a surge of fear in his heart. Since one finger can bounce the whole tree away, that is to say, it can also easily flick the flying man's head. Uzumaki Naruto felt chills all over his body, and secretly made up his mind, let's avoid messing with Mr. Lu Xing in the future. Look, you can do it by manipulating chakra. Yagyu Satoru pointed to the big tree next to him, and said with a faint smile, in short, Pingxiong, you have to do it for the time being, you can punch through the big tree. I'll give it a try. Haruno Sakura closed her eyes, felt the flow of chakra, and then manipulated the flow of chakra to her hands, after a while. Ha! Haruno Sakura opened her eyes suddenly, clenched her small white fist, and hit the tree with all her strength. Crackling, the big tree trembled slightly, and a few green leaves fell, while Haruno Sakura's hand bent in a strange arc, and scarlet blood flowed out. One punch broke. Hiss, it hurts. Haruno Sakura knelt on the ground, clutching his fractured left hand, his face was pale from the pain, and his eyes were full of tears. Even Yagyu Satoru was dumbfounded. Are you stupid or stupid? The corner of Yagyu Satoru's mouth moved slightly, looking at the crying Haruno Sakura, he said speechlessly, I can understand that a fox kid is stupid, but it's hard for me to understand you doing this. Hit the big tree with all your strength, and then broke the bone. Human confusing behavior. Teacher Lu Xing, please help me heal. Haruno Sakura looked at Yagyu Satoru pitifully with tears in his eyes. Treat yourself, this is also an exercise, if you should be able to do it. Yagyu Satoru turned and walked into the tent. Probably. Yagyu Satoru added, he previously taught Haruno Sakura how to use medical ninjutsu. Anyway, brats, work hard and strive to be self-reliant as soon as possible. Yagyu Satoru breathed out and closed the tent door. It will take about a week for Uzumaki Naruto to learn Summoning Beast. Uchiha Sasuke wants to master Chakra's nature transformation, which may take about 3 weeks. As for Haruno Sakura chakra is so delicately controlled that it is difficult to judge an approximate time, but at least after meeting Xiaojiang, he should be able to relax for a while. Everyone in Class 7 practiced on their own. Haruno Sakura was working hard on healing before learning strange power. No matter how Uzumaki Naruto summoned, what he summoned was a cat teaser. He was so angry that he started to form seals crazily, and then slapped the ground crazily. Uchiha Sasuke is here, focusing on sensing the extinguishing attribute chakra. They practiced hard on their own. 2 days later, the sun is scorching, and the sky is sunny. Country of Long, Bamboo Street, in a large casino, there are huge crowds of people and the atmosphere is lively. Many people gathered around a gambling table, placing bets in a heated atmosphere. A big man put the dice on the gambler, glanced at the audience, and shouted loudly, start betting, buy big or small, ... Ask for flowers. $500, buy a big one. Then I'll buy a small one, $1,000. I'll buy a big one too, for $300 first. Buy big. All the gamblers present bet big, and all of them were around a few hundred to $1,000. Small, $200,000. A heroic voice resounded throughout the gambling area. As soon as this statement came out, everyone on the scene was slightly taken aback, and everyone looked at the place where the sound sounded. What catches the eye is a cute and sassy top ear. She has long light golden hair, combed into a pair of ponytails on both sides. Her exquisite facial features are very cute, and there is a sense of heroism between her eyebrows and eyes. She was wearing gray clothes and a green coat. Outside, 0. The word gambling was written on the jacket. The skin is white and slender, and the figure is tall and proud, especially the huge bust, soft and fierce. She is one of the legendary Sannin, known as Princess Tsunade. Everyone in the room was stunned, and looked at Tsunade with a look of embarrassment. It turned out to be her. Who is she? The legendary. A big man's face was ugly, and a drop of cold sweat flowed from his forehead. The legendary one. A big sister stared at Tsunade in the distance with a heavy heart. Since he is a legendary person, he must be a big man with a head and a face. The legendary. Big fat sheep. Casino philanthropist, a kind person who specializes in giving money. After a brief silence, the entire casino began to cheer, and everyone looked at Tsunade with expressions like picking up money. in the eyes of gamblers, Tsunade is a kind-hearted person who gives money. Master Tsunade, what do you want to bet on? The casino owner rubbed his hands. With a very respectful attitude, he took the initiative to greet Tsunade. Tsunade is the master in the casino, she dares to be the second, but no one dares to be the first. After all, it is a big customer who sends money, because Tsunade will lose every bet, and he has tens of thousands of dollars at hand, and he has never won. Tsunade sat cross-legged in front of the gambling table, opened the suitcase to reveal a pile of banknotes, waved his little hand and said proudly, bet small, 200,000 yuan. P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluation tickets, kneeling. Factory. 75, Orochimaru appears, Tsunade #039, kick. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master Tsunade, this is the money we just borrowed. Shizun hugged the pink piggy, grabbed Tsunade's wrist in a panic, and whispered, this is all the money for the whole body, what should we do after we spend it? That they were in the small country next door before, and then fled all the way to the country of Long. Then, with Tsunade's status as one of the Sannin in the legend, he can borrow a lot of money by mouth, but the problem is, the 200,000 yuan that Tsunade bet is all their current possessions, and they will sleep on the street today after spending all of it. That's right, Shizun didn't say that Tsunade used the money to gamble, but said to spend the money, because Tsunade loses every bet, he is spending money. Tsunade waved his hand and said with a heroic gesture, it's nothing, it's just money. The corner of Shizun's mouth moved slightly, she has nothing to say now, money only. Still owe a but debt. Thanks to the absence of Mr. Lu Sheng, otherwise the money will be spent even more. Lu Sheng and Tsunade are more powerful than the other in terms of 390 on the prodigal side. Master Tsunade bought the small one. Then I'll bet on the big one, $10,000. Honey, all the property will be staked. I'll bet big too, 20,000 yuan. I heard that as long as you can do it against Master Tsunade, you will definitely be able to make a fortune. All the gamblers present, when they heard that Tsunade bought the small, they were very excited to use all the money they had to buy the big at one go, because Tsunade loses every bet, so they operate in reverse, and they will definitely make a fortune. Master Tsunade, let's go. Shizun looked at the cheering gamblers, and secretly tugged at the corner of Tsunade's clothes, so did Pink Pig, looking at Tsunade with concern. This group of gamblers is completely taking Master Tsunade as a well-intentioned person who gives money. Open. The croupier was afraid that Tsunade would regret it, so he rolled the dice immediately. The audience fell into silence, and everyone stared at the dice. After a while, they showed an expression of disbelief. The dice are 1.2.3, small. This, how is this possible? The croupier's eyes widened with shock, and he looked at Tsunade in disbelief. Tsunade, who must lose every bet, won today. And bet 200,000, this huge odds. God, the casino is going bankrupt. Everyone in the entire casino looked at Tsunade with disbelief and shock. That's great, Master Tsunade, we finally won once. Shizun hugged the pink piggy and cheered happily. She is indeed very happy, because she has money to pay off her debts. After so many years, Master Tsunade, is it the second time to win the bet? Shizun is happy, but Tsunade's mood is getting heavy. TSK. Tsunade's smile disappeared, biting his white thumb lightly. A trace of worry flashed in his eyes, and his lovely face was very heavy. Every time she wins a bet, something big happens. After she won the bet last time, she picked up Yagyu Satoru in the pile of bones. What will happen after winning this bet? Master Tsunade, your money. The casino owner carried several boxes of money and placed them beside Tsunade, and said with an expression uglier than crying, congratulations. Congratulations. If it was someone else, he would have reneged, but he didn't have the courage to renege on Tsunade. Tsunade is, after all, one of the legendary Sannin, one of the top ninja powerhouses. Who dares to take her account? A lot of money, that's great, Master Tsunade. Shizun was carrying a few suitcases, and his face was almost full of smiles. Shizun, let's go. Tsunade frowned slightly, and left the casino with a heavy heart. Wait for me, Master Tsunade. Shizun was carrying a few boxes of money, chasing after Tsunade with a strange expression on his face, thinking to himself. What happened to Tsunade-sama? Tsunade and Shizun, walking briskly to the town border. Master Tsunade. Shizun ran after Tsunade all the way, and asked with a puzzled face, where are we going? Leave here and change to another place to gamble. Today's luck is very good, let's gamble a few more times. Tsunade said with a forced smile. She had a strange premonition in her heart, if you continue to stay in this city, big things are likely to happen. Long time no see, Tsunade. There was a hoarse voice with a touch of evil charm behind the two women, who? Shizun wondered. Tsunade slightly frowned, stopped walking and turned to look. This sound is. What catches the eye is, Orochimaru stands on the roof with a wicked smile on his face, his arms are vertical as if unconscious, and beside him stands Yakushi Kabuto. Orochimaru, do you have anything to do with me? Tsunade smiled lightly, but was puzzled in his heart. The reason why Orochimaru appeared in this long country on purpose is to find me, right? Let's cut a long story short, Tsunade. Orochimaru glanced at the unconscious hands, a look of anger in his eyes. Damn Sarutobi-sensei. He was hit by Yagyu Satoru for a second, and then Yakushi Kabuto passed the curse seal and revived him again. Orochimaru's years of research have resulted in him being fully resurrected with only a little chakra left, but after losing his soul in his hands, he has no way to restore them. She came forward to find Tsunade only because she was forced to do so, although it will anger Yagyu Satoru. There is no better way at present. He thinks it is more important to recover his hands than to find Tsunade and cause Yagyu Satoru to be angry. My hand lost its soul, you should be able to cure it. Orochimaru said hoarsely. Yakushi Kabuto stared at Tsunaman vigilantly with his glasses reflecting. Is this Tsunade who is one of the legendary three along with Orochimaru-sama? I don't feel strong. Yakushi Kabuto glanced at Orochimaru's hands. Orochimaru-sama cannot seal. If the situation changes, he needs to protect Orochimaru-sama by himself. Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin. Shizun eyed Orochimaru warily. Is this the Orochi who is one of the legendary three with Tsunade-sama? If I remember correctly, Orochimaru is a traitor, right? Master Tsunade suffers from hemophobia. If there is a dispute between the two sides, I must protect Master Tsunade. Tsunade's face darkened. He stared at Orochimaru coldly, and said in a deep voice, after your hands are healed, are you going to destroy the village? I'm not interested in participating in these shitty things, get out and leave me alone. Tsunade had heard it before, because he planned to destroy the village. She hated the war and now just wants to do it every day, gamble, gamble, drink, drink, live a carefree life. If possible, I also want to travel around the world with Xiaowu. Master Tsunade, you seem to have misunderstood something. Yakushi Kabuto pushed his glasses and said with a mocking smile, Third Hokage has been solved by Master Orochimaru. As soon as this statement came out, both Tsunade and Shizun were slightly taken aback. Hokage is dead. Shizun's eyes showed shock. Third Hokage, Sarutobi Hiruzen, but the existence of Dr. Ninja. Your hand is because of Mr. Sarutobi. Tsunade's eyes flashed a gloomy look, and the picture of the previous 2.5 appeared in his mind. Yes, Sarutobi teacher also died, people who have Hokage dreams, and people who become Hokage, there is no way to live well, Hokage. Stupid. Your problem, you solve it yourself. Tsunade turned and left. Shizun, let's go. Let's make a deal. The corners of Orochimaru's mouth twitched slightly, and he clearly understood what Tsunade wanted most. Orochimaru, I warned you, don't bother me again. Tsunade's eyes showed a trace of anger, turned around and jumped into the air, raised his legs and smashed towards Orochimaru heavily. Master Orochimaru. Yakushi Kabuto's face changed slightly, and he jumped back suddenly. Orochimaru also leaps backwards. Bang! Tsunade hit the ground with one foot, the house with her as the core collapsed, and a small pothole appeared on the ground. P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluation tickets, kneel down. 76, Orochimaru #039, deal, revive the most important person. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Shizun stared wide-eyed, with a bewildered expression, looking at the large houses that had been kicked into ruins by Tsunade. Tsunade-sama is still so hot-tempered, and if he says to do it, he will do it directly, although the strength is very strong. Severe blood phobia is a problem. Master Tsunade, please stand back. After Shizun reacted, he pulled out a handful of kunai from the leather on his thigh, and jumped in front of Tsunade. Leave the enemy to me. Shizun looked solemn, staring vigilantly at Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto in the distance. She is not sure whether she can stop these two, but in order to protect Master Tsunade, even if she is brave, she must go. Tsunade, your strange power is still so terrifying. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth, and a hint of vigilance flashed in the pale golden snake pupils. In any case, he must heal the hands that lost his soul, otherwise he will lose everything. Master Orochimaru, leave this place to me. Yakushi Kabuto stood in front of Orochimaru, with a faint smile on his face, pushed his glasses, and looked at Tsunade vigilantly. One of the legendary Sannin, Mesh, although the speed is very ordinary, but the attack power is terrifying. 12 Every punch and every kick can cause landslides and ground cracks. If it is hit once, I am afraid it will be very troublesome. The audience was silent, and the atmosphere gradually became heavy. Both sides are wary of each other. Shizun knows Tsunade's weakness. Yakushi Kabuto understands Orochimaru's crippled hands. Admiral has flaws on both sides. Orochimaru, you should know my character very well, don't make me angry. Tsunade threw his coat aside, with a hint of heroism in his brows, Haki's attitude on his face, and looked indifferently at Orochimaru in the distance. Otherwise, I will kill you. I'll count to 5, and you will disappear automatically, otherwise I will let you disappear. Tsunade's pale golden twin ponytail swayed slightly with the breeze, and his bones creaked as he clenched his fists. She is serious, she has always had a bad temper. She found out that Yagyu Satoru went to Oiran Street before, and she chased and beat Yagyu Satoru from early morning to early morning. It even went so far as to demolish the entire Oiran Street. Hee, I know your weakness very well. Orochimaru narrowed his pale gold snake eyes, not caring about Tsunade's threat at all. In the past, he would really be afraid of Tsunade, because Tsunade was not as kind as Sarutobi Hiruzen, and she was a woman who could really kill, but it's completely unnecessary now. He knew Tsunade's weakness, and two weaknesses at that. One is the most important person, the other is the phobia. Free. Tsunade walked towards Orochimaru step by step. She burst out a huge chakra. The ground shook violently. Master Tsunade. Shizun looked at Tsunade Haki's back with a worried expression, and she knew that Tsunade was planning to force Orochimaru with his strength. It's all about bragging rights. Master Orochimaru, please be careful. Yakushi Kabuto's palm emerged, and a light blue chakra appeared. After chakra was compressed, its shape changed, and finally formed a chakra knife. Tsunade clenched her fist slowly. She was going to avoid the phobia, and punched Orochimaru hard. Orochimaru didn't move. With a hint of sternness in his eyes, he smiled evilly and said, Senju Nawaki. 1. Tsunade was about to attack. Resurrection. Orochimaru said hoarsely, I can resurrect your two most important people, Senju Nawaki and Kato Dan. After hearing these two names, Tsunade paused in his footsteps. A look of panic appeared in his eyes, two pictures appeared in his mind, and a sentence sounded in his ear. Becoming Hokage is my dream. The two people she cherished the most in the past both had dreams of becoming Hokage, but in the end they both died tragically on the battlefield. It was also because of these two people that she began to be afraid of blood and suffered from severe hemophobia. Every time she saw blood, the image of the two tragic deaths would appear in her mind. It is also because of these two people that she began to hate Hokage, thinking that people who want to be Hokage are stupid, and she also began to stay away from the village and the war. After Orochimaru saw Tsunade stop, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief, and then continued in a hoarse voice. After you heal my hand, I can let you see them. Isn't it your dream to see them become Hokage? You want to see them? Good deal, huh? Tsunade. There's no need to answer now, I'll give you 3 days. and we'll see you at the back mountain in 3 days. Orochimaru said hoarsely. He didn't force Tsunade to answer now, because it might backfire. Master Tsunade, don't believe his nonsense, the dead cannot be resurrected. Shizun held kunai in his hand and stared at Orochimaru vigilantly. Tsunade looked ugly, neither moving nor speaking. Impure world reincarnation, you should understand its function. Orochi took a deep look at Tsunade. Tsunade is in a bad state right now, so he should have succeeded. Is it a dream? A word that Yagyu Satoru said before rang in Tsunade's ear. Shao Gang, if you don't have a dream, let me be your dream. The corners of Tsunade's mouth raised slightly, his flustered mood gradually stabilized, and a warm current rose in his heart. Smelly brat, actually talking big, your most beloved adoptive mother never saw you come to the rescue when she was in trouble. Orochimaru, your proposal is very interesting. Tsunade walked towards Orochimaru, smiled slightly. There is no need to wait for 3 days, I agree now. As soon as this remark came out, everyone in the audience was slightly taken aback. Even Orochimaru was puzzled because Tsunade's attitude changed so quickly. Shizun was slightly taken aback, and exclaimed in disbelief, Master Tsunade, do you really want to treat Orochimaru? Tsunade didn't say much, but responded with a smile. Tsunade. Orochimaru felt strange. Tsunade walked up to Orochimaru. According to the agreement, after you heal your hand, you will revive them both. Emerging from the palm of Tsunade, a light blue chakra slowly grabbed Orochimaru 067's hand. Of course. Orochimaru said hoarsely. He still felt strange in his heart, but Tsunade didn't have the slightest killing intent. Should be. All right? Suddenly. Master Orochimaru, be careful. Yakushi Kabuto's face changed drastically, and he held the chakra knife in his hand, and slashed towards Tsunade's abdomen. Go to hell, Orochimaru. Tsunade clenched his fist, his white hands exploded with strength, and punched Orochimaru's face heavily. Dream? The most important person. From that day on, her dream is Yagyu Satoru. Just for a moment, Orochimaru's pupils shrank, and he jumped back. Tsunade's white fist hit the ground heavily. Bang! The ground was torn apart, a large pothole appeared, a torrent of dust rose from the ground, and huge stones rolled down towards the pothole. Before Yakushi Kabuto could attack, he was blown away by the boulder. This punch is terrifying. Tsunade, what do you mean? Orochimaru's face was ugly, and he glanced at the huge pothole, with a flash of anger in his eyes. Tsunade's punch is very powerful, I'm afraid he intends to kill him. Orochimaru, don't get me wrong. Tsunade looked at Orochimaru in the distance with an indifferent expression. P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluation tickets, kneel down. The internet was disconnected, I vomited, and the phone rewritten according to the computer, and I barely caught up. 77 Tsunade #039, Hemophobia, Yagyu Satoru appears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. My most important person is not dead, how can you bring him back to life? Tsunade raised his chin slightly, with a hint of sarcasm in his smile. Her most important person now is Yagyu Satoru, and Yagyu Satoru is still alive and well. Who will Orochimaru resurrect? She does suffer from hemophobia, but her knot has long been untied. Yagyu Satoru said it would be her dream, then she will also be firm in this dream. Yagyu Satoru. Orochimaru's face was gloomy. He never thought that Yagyu Satoru had already untied Tsunade's knot. Yagyu Satoru's blood inheritance boundary is a very special existence, and I will get his power one day. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth, and there was a trace of burning color in his eyes. He really wanted Yagyu Satoru, but saying this deliberately is also to divert Tsunade's attention. Xiaowu is my favorite. Tsunade paused for a moment, then changed the topic and said, he is my most important adopted son. Orochimaru, you are very aware of my temper, you want to hurt my adopted son in front of me, you are courting death. Tsunade's face was frosty, with a hint of anger in his eyes. He jumped up and punched Orochimaru in the head. Hee. Orochimaru dodged back, avoiding Tsunade's terrifying punch. After the bang fist landed, a large pothole was smashed out. Stupid judgment. Orochimaru smiled evilly, and further mocked, you are Yagyu Satoru's adoptive mother, what can you get from him? That he also knows one of Tsunade's weaknesses, that is the identity of the foster mother. Tsunade bit her lips lightly, and Yagyu Satoru's frivolous and reliable back appeared in her mind. She did treat Yagyu Satoru as an adopted son at first, but as time passed, after many things happened, she began to care about Yagyu Satoru, and gradually fell in love with Yagyu Satoru, but she never showed her heart, and even used an angry attitude as a cover when she was molested by Yagyu Satoru. Because she really cares about the identity of her adoptive mother, so she has been hiding her thoughts, and deliberately distracted Yagyu Satoru, letting him return to the village to take care of the legacy of the fourth generation. What Orochimaru said really hit her. Just when Tsunade was in a trance, Yakushi Kabuto slashed at Tsunade's abdomen with a hand knife, in the blink of an eye. Tsunade punched Yakushi Kabuto in the stomach. Boom! Tsunade flew out at the same time as Yakushi Kabuto. Master Tsunade. Shizen's pupils shrank, and when he was about to attack, he was kicked away by Orochimaru. What a terrible power! Yakushi Kabuto slowly got up, and the light blue chakra emerged from his palm, pressing on the painful abdomen, and his internal organs were ruptured by the punch. If he hadn't used chakra to protect his abdomen in an instant, he might have been punched to death. Chakra knife? You're a medical ninja too. Tsunade steadied his footing, bursting out a massive chakra, the disconnected muscles inside healing themselves. 2 is my best subordinate. He is a genius at controlling chakra. Orochimaru watched with interest the battle between Tsunade and Yakushi Kabuto in the distance. Yakushi Kabuto can precisely control chakra, and his strength is in the special jonin. Then let's deal with you first. Tsunade clenched his fists and quickly attacked Yakushi Kabuto. Your strength is indeed very strong, but... Yakushi Kabuto didn't move, pulled out the palm that Kunai had scratched himself, and threw the scarlet blood on Tsunade's face. Suddenly, Tsunade's fist stopped in front of Yakushi Kabuto's face. After seeing the scarlet blood, there was a hint of panic in her eyes. Yakushi Kabuto watched, with his fist full of ruler, secretly heaving a sigh of relief. Tsunade, one of the legendary Sannin, is really powerful. It is a level higher than many ordinary Kage-level powerhouses. Every punch has an attack power comparable to that of an A-level wind style. If there is no phobia, neither he nor Orochimaru-sama can leave alive today. Yakushi Kabuto clenched his fist, scarlet blood rolled down to the ground. Ha, ha, blood, blood. Tsunade's breathing gradually became heavy, kneeling on the ground with limp legs, looking at the scarlet blood in his palm, his eyes filled with fear. Tsunade trembled all over, and the past experiences came to mind. Senju Nawaki and Kato Dan, the image of the two bleeding to death, has been echoing in her mind. She is afraid of blood, afraid of losing important people. She felt like a scourge, because every important person in the past would eventually die tragically in front of her. She fears that one day, Yagyu Satoru will die tragically too. This is also one of the reasons why she stayed away from Yagyu Satoru. You are one of the legendary Sannin, the strongest medical ninja in the whole ninja world, but you suffer from blood phobia. It's really shameful. Yakushi Kabuto raised his foot and kicked Tsunade hard with a mocking expression on his face. Abdomen. Who? Tsunade breathed heavily, lost the heroic posture of the past, and now trembled like a helpless little girl. Master Tsunade, I'll take you away. Shizen quickly ran toward Tsunade, a cold light flashed past, and a sharp sword slashed towards Jingji's neck. Damn it! Shizen's face changed slightly, and he rolled twice on the ground, avoiding Orochimaru's Kusanagi sword. 3. Take it away. Orochimaru looked sideways. Tsunade was in a state of fear, and there was a hint of sarcasm in the light golden snake pupils. Has a strong strength, but suffers from blood phobia. It's really sad. Tsunade. Of course, Lord Orochimaru. Yakushi Kabuto's hand emerged, a light blue chakra, and the chakra was compressed to form a sharp knife. Yakushi Kabuto slashed at Tsunade's neck quickly with a chakra knife. He intended to cut off the muscles of Tsunade's neck in case something happened during the capture. A huge chakra, covering the entire area of the audience. Within the chakra is a terrifying killing intent. after being suppressed by this chakra, the faces of everyone in the audience changed slightly. Is this chakra? Mr. Lu Xing. Shizun was delighted. Suddenly, Yakushi Kabuto's complexion changed drastically, with horror in his eyes, his back was faintly chilled, and the chakra knife slammed and stopped in front of Tsunade's neck. A picture flashed in Yakushi Kabuto's mind. Hao Zhao, Yagyu Satoru's back view, he had a premonition that if this chakra knife was cut on Tsunade's neck, he would die very badly. So out of fear, he subconsciously stopped. Tsunade was weak all over, and slowly fell backwards. Shua Yagyu Satoru appeared out of thin air, standing behind Tsunade. Tsunade leans on Yagyu Satoru's lap. Are you afraid? Yagyu Satoru covered Tsunade's eyes, and with a gentle smile on his face, he whispered in Tsunade's ear, if you are afraid, close your eyes and leave the rest to me. Far away, everyone in the 7th class was stunned. It was the first time they saw Teacher Lu Xing showing such a warm smile. Teacher Lu Xing usually has a bad attitude no matter who he meets. Is such a warm smile and behavior really a person? P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, and ask for half of the evaluation tickets. Kneel down. 7-8 Yagyu Satoru proves himself. 5 weaknesses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Enlightenment, enlightenment. After hearing the familiar voice, Tsunade subconsciously held Yagyu Satoru's hand, feeling the temperature of his palm, and her trembling delicate body gradually stabilized. Xiao Gang, it's all right now, because the invincible me has appeared. Yagyu Satoru held Tsunade's white and cool little hand with his backhand. He looked at the latter's state and sighed secretly in his heart. Tsunade is strong, but also weak. Fear in the heart is the most difficult disease to overcome. Well. Tsunade turned around and hugged Yagyu Satoru. The fear in his heart, all the negative emotions, gradually disappeared. She is not as heroic as she used to be, nor is she as weak as before. Now she is like a child who is being bullied. Master Tsunade, you have done well, let's sleep for a while. Yagyu Satoru caressed Tsunade's little head, and a light blue chakra appeared in the palm of his hand. Chakra hypnosis. Tsunade's eyes slowly closed, his consciousness gradually began to blur, and finally his whole body softened and fell asleep. Everyone present can understand that although Yagyu Satoru has a gentle attitude, the chakra he exudes is extremely cold. Yagyu Satoru is angry. Yagyu Satoru, you actually appeared. Yakushi Kabuto's lenses reflected light, a drop of cold sweat flowed from his forehead, and his back felt faintly chilled. He forced a smile and pushed his glasses. Yagyu Satoru respects and loves Tsunade very much. After seeing Tsunade's condition, he must be very angry. The situation has become troublesome. For 13 with the appearance of Yagyu Satoru, the plan to capture Tsunade for treatment has completely failed, but now the plan doesn't matter anymore. The question is how to deal with it, the destruction of the strongest man. Actually. Yagyu Satoru moved his hand in his pocket slightly. Before finishing his sentence, it was the slight movement of the hand in the pocket that caused the expressions of Yakushi Kabuto and Orochimaru to change drastically. Yakushi Kabuto's eyes showed a trace of panic. He jumped back suddenly, his arms emerged to protect the chakra knife in front of him. Master Orochimaru, please be careful. Yakushi Kabuto stared at Yagyu Satoru in the distance with a vigilant expression. Before Yagyu Satoru could make a move, he was scared off immediately. Yakushi Kabuto still remembers the situation when Yagyu Satoru made a second move and Orochimaru was an adult. Am I scary? Yagyu Satoru took out a lollipop, unpacked it and threw it into his mouth. Looking at Yakushi Kabuto in the distance, he just took a lollipop and Yakushi Kabuto backed away like hell. As for. According to the information I know, you have no weakness in your abilities. Yakushi Kabuto forced a smile on his face. He was vigilant against Yagyu Satoru while thinking about how to take Orochimaru out of here. Cad, everyone has weaknesses. Yagyu Satoru sipped the lollipop vertically, and said with an indifferent expression, is that Yakushi Kabuto? The whole ninja world is curious about my weaknesses, so let me prove myself. I have at least 5 weaknesses. 1. Let the air of the whole world disappear. Yagyu Satoru held up a finger, shout out loud enough to shock people. Yagyu Satoru held up 2 fingers. 3. Use the illusion attack on Tsukuyomi. Lu Xingzhou raised his 3rd finger. 4. All poison. Yagyu Satoru held up his 4th finger. Everyone on the scene was slightly startled. Yagyu Satoru was too arrogant, even took the initiative to tell the enemy's weakness. Even Shizun is stupefied. Why would Mr. Lu Xing tell the enemy about his weaknesses? After the weakness is known, it is likely to lead to defeat. 5. Yagyu Satoru hadn't finished speaking. Double. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth, his eyes were full of scorching color, and he stared at Lu Xingyu firmly. For the first time, he knew what weakness Yagyu Satoru had: poison. That's easy. Yes, Master Orochimaru. Yakushi Kabuto cut Orochimaru's arm with a hand knife. After a drop of blood was stained on his thumb, his hands quickly sealed and then he slapped the ground heavily. Summoning, 1,000 snakes. Bang! Thick white smoke covered the audience, and a huge lion majesty appeared out of nowhere, and its size was as large as a mountain. Orochimaru, is there something wrong with you summoning lousy? One snake swung its huge tail and flew all the surrounding buildings into the air, making an angry and arrogant cry, which resounded throughout the entire area. Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto, the 2 stand on top of the snakes. Master, 10,000 snakes, use poison. Yakushi Kabuto said respectfully. Go away, don't stand on top of my head. One snake twisted violently, trying to throw Yakushi Kabuto and Orochimaru away. One snake, the enemy is Yagyu Satoru. Orochimaru's face was ugly, even he couldn't help it, and ordered one snake well. Yagyu Satoru. One snake was slightly startled, looked at Yagyu Satoru in the distance, with a trace of panic in the snake's eyes, and said in a deep voice, Orochimaru, are you crazy? Orochimaru is fighting against Yagyu Satoru, the strongest ninja. Go crazy. Orochimaru wants to die, so die, the problem is it hasn't lived enough. Orochimaru, wait for lousy. One snake roared in a low voice, but since the enemy was right in front of him, he had no choice but to bite the bullet. Ninja poison mist. One snake opened his mouth wide, and spit out a black poisonous mist. The thick poisonous mist rolled and stirred, corroding everything on the ground where it passed. The strong poison gradually covered the area where Yagyu Satoru was. Even the stone has been corroded, which shows how terrible the poison is. Mr. Lu Xing. Shizun's face changed slightly, and he wanted to run over to detoxify Yagyu Satoru, but because his leg was severely injured by the Kusanagi sword, he fell down after just 2 steps. All poison is indeed Yagyu Satoru's greatest weakness, because no matter how strong Yagyu Satoru is, he is still a human being who needs to breathe. As for Yagyu Satoru's other weaknesses, just ignore them, eliminate the world's air. This is the weakness of the whole world. Teacher Lu Xing. Everyone in the 7th class panicked, and Uzumaki Naruto crossed his hands, just as he was about to help Yagyu Satoru. At the end of the crane, even if you go, it will be a hindrance. Let's take a look here. Uchiha Sasuke raised his hand to block Naruto, preventing Uzumaki Naruto, who wanted to attack with one brain that he didn't worry about Yagyu Satoru, because he knew that Lu Xing was very strong. There must be some very important reasons why Yagyu Satoru told the enemy all his weaknesses. Cough, cough, choked to death. Yagyu Satoru raised his hand and fanned the poisonous mist around him, looking at 10,000 snakes in the distance with a disgusted expression on his face. Poison is indeed my weakness, but at least you have to come up with the poison that can poison you to death in one breath. Rakage 5 times. The poison you used is not as powerful as Naruto's fart. Yagyu Satoru said with disgust, he can reverse the technique and heal all injuries instantly, so most poisons are meaningless. In the distance, Uzumaki Naruto blushed in embarrassment, covered his butt subconsciously, and muttered, Ms. Lu Xing overheard me last night. Little Sakura and Sasuke turned their heads away. They were both embarrassed for Naruto. Why do you want to be teammates with such a stupid person as Naruto? P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluation tickets. Knelt down. The broadband was only repaired in the afternoon, and it was said that the router box was broken. the author will try his best to make up for the overdue updates. 79. Give Orochimaru the most tortured punishment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Orochimaru had a scorching expression on his face, and his pale golden snake eyes were full of greed, and said hoarsely, "You are still so powerful, 10,000 snakes are poisonous enough to corrode an entire hill, but even with such a strong poison, they couldn't hurt Yagyu Satoru. Do you know why I would tell you my weaknesses?" Yagyu Satoru raised his chin slightly, with a frivolous smile on his face. He just thought of a lot of pretend lines, but it doesn't make much sense to say to Orochimaru and Yakushi Kabuto, "These two weaklings, just pretend to be shallow." Because of the strength gap. There is an infinite gap between you and me. As soon as the voice fell, Yagyu Satoru disappeared out of thin air. Everyone present could only feel a gust of wind blowing by. Bang! One snake's body split apart, turning into a cloud of scarlet blood mist, and the flesh muddy rained down on the ground. Yakushi Kabuto's head flew out, a blood hole appeared in his abdomen, and scarlet blood flowed. Everyone present couldn't see clearly what happened in the blink of an eye. They could only see that Yakushi Kabuto and 10,000 snakes were killed in seconds. Before Yakushi Kabuto was about to die, what he felt was a wave of positive and negative crushing. Good, so strong, that everyone in the 7th class stared at Yagyu Satoru's back with wide-eyed expressions of disbelief. What just happened? How did Yakushi Kabuto and 10,000 snakes die? It's so fast, with my blood eyes, I can't even see what teacher Lu Xing did just now. Uchiha Sasuke put his hands in his pockets, a pair of scarlet Sharingan, staring at Yagyu Satoru in the distance. He just wanted to use Sharingan to observe Yagyu Satoru's fighting style, and then imitate it, but nothing was seen. Mr. Lu Xing's strength is outrageous. Shizun stared blankly at Yagyu Satoru with a bewildered expression on his face. She is well aware of the strength of Yakushi Kabuto, who at least has the strength of a special jonin. Above, there is also one snake, which is also a very strong summoning beast, but it was such a strong two existences. They were hit by Yagyu Satoru in seconds. How much experience does Yagyu Satoru have now? Horrible. Just now is the ability of Shueji boundary, right? You are such a perfect existence, I really want to get you right away. Orochimaru landed on the ground, with a greedy expression on his face, staring at Yagyu Satoru. Although he had a smile on his surface, he was terrified in his heart. He just saw how Yagyu Satoru solved Yakushi Kabuto. What is used is a strand, which contains positive and negative energy. And it is precisely because of the oppression of the positive and negative poles that the mass will cause the snakes to turn into meat paste. Dead lady boy, have you changed your sexual orientation? It's disgusting. Yagyu Satoru hugged Tsunade, suspended above the sky, and looked down at Orochimaru below indifferently. If you like men, I recommend Sasuke to you. Sasuke wants to revive Uchiha, and you want Sharingan. That's fine. When you mate, you can produce a bunch of children with Uchiha blood. Orochimaru is now a woman, can give birth. Humph. Uchiha Sasuke looked at Orochimaru in the distance, his whole body trembled slightly, and a chill rose in his heart. Hee. Yagyu Satoru, you are very angry now. Orochimaru licked the corner of his mouth, although Yagyu Satoru was as frivolous as ever, but he could feel that Yagyu Satoru was very angry now. Yeah, that's right. Yagyu Satoru said flatly, I'm thinking about how to train me hard, you naughty little wild cat. Seeing Yagyu Satoru, Shizun didn't make a move for a long time, and a look of anxiety flashed in her eyes. Shizun shouted anxiously, Mr. Lu Xing, stop messing around, and quickly solve Orochimaru. Orochimaru is, after all, one of the legendary Sannin, a real Kage-level powerhouse. Even if you can't use your hands, if something goes wrong, everything will be over. It's decided. Yagyu Satoru smiled slightly, with a hint of cruelty in his smile, and said, since you like men so much, then find a bunch of men to accompany you. He knew that Orochimaru could be resurrected, since death is meaningless, make life a hell. Do you want to? Orochimaru's pupils shrank, and there was a deep look of fear in his eyes. He was always calm, but after listening to Lu Xingqing's words, he was completely panicked. His current container is a woman, which means he is a woman now, but Yagyu Satoru actually wants to find a bunch of men to accompany him. He is one of the legendary Sannin, a fearsome Kage-level powerhouse. Put him with a bunch of men. This is more cruel than killing him. Yagyu Satoru is just messing around. A bunch of men. Shizun blinked, and after understanding what it meant, her fair and pretty face flushed slightly. Mr. Lu Sheng is so bad, ask for flowers. What's the meaning? Everyone in the 7th class was puzzled, but Uchiha Sasuke was slightly taken aback, and secretly sighed, Teacher Lu Sheng is so cruel. Uchiha Sasuke understood what Yagyu Satoru meant. Don't be shy, it should be very comfortable. Yagyu Satoru teleported away and appeared in front of Orochimaru, with a light blue chakra emerging from 5 fingertips. How a heavenly prison. Yagyu Satoru pressed 5 fingers on Yin Shawan's abdomen. Several flame-like lines appeared on the surface of Orochimaru's skin, and his chakra was completely sealed. Heavenly prison. Orochimaru knelt on the ground, feeling a burning sensation all over his body. As long as he pushed chakra a little, he would be backlashed by the blazing heavenly prison. Yagyu Satoru, you actually met the heavenly prison of the Ghost Lamp City. Orochimaru's face was ugly, and he had to find a way to escape, otherwise today, he would fall into the hands of Lu Sheng. 0. Heavenly prison is a super advanced seal. If the sealed person uses chakra, he will be devoured by fire style. This is the prison in Ghost Lamp City. A seal that only the warden can use, a powerful means to suppress rebellion in prisoners. Why did Yagyu Satoru learn this trick? Does Yagyu Satoru have any relationship with Ghost Lamp City? It's quite knowledgeable. In short, feel the joy of being a woman. Yagyu Satoru kicked off Orochimaru's legs, grabbed Orochimaru and disappeared. In the distance, Jiren village, in a prison. Shua Yagyu Satoru appeared out of nowhere, holding Orochimaru who was unconscious in his hand. Who is this guy? All the rebels in the prison trembled when they saw Yagyu Satoru appear. This man's chakra. So scary. Don't panic, I'll give you a blessing. Yagyu Satoru kept Orochimaru still on the ground, pointed at Orochimaru and said with a light smile, Orochimaru, one of the Sannin, he used to be very tall, right? Now you can play whatever you want. After Yagyu Satoru finished speaking, he clasped his hands together and disappeared out of thin air. At the same time, on the border of the country of Long. Teacher Lu Sheng, why did you take Orochimaru away? What are they going to do? Uzumaki Naruto looked innocent, full of doubts in his heart. He didn't understand at all what Yagyu Satoru meant. P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluation tickets, to kneel. Enter. 80. I feel sorry for Orochimaru for a second. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Woman, could it be? Haruno Sakura suddenly realized, and after realizing it, a chill surged up in her heart. God. Teacher Lu Sheng is so cruel. Although Orochimaru was the enemy, she now has a little sympathy for what happened to the snake. Uzumaki Naruto looked at Haruno Sakura beside him with a puzzled expression, and asked, Little Sakura, what does Teacher Lu Sheng mean? Haruno Sakura blushed slightly, and a look of embarrassment flashed in her eyes. Naruto, an idiot, still has the face to ask. Uchiha Sasuke put his hands in his pockets, turned his head and snorted coldly, super idiot. What are you stinking? Uzumaki Naruto's face darkened, he glanced at Sasuke and then at little Sakura, repeated several times, can little Sakura and Sasuke understand what Teacher Lu Sheng means? That is, only he didn't understand. Damn it. These guys actually think of me as an idiot. Of course I know what it means. Uzumaki 400 Uzumaki Naruto put his hands on his chest, with an expression that I understand, and said bravely, that's it, I understand, I understand. Humph. Uchiha Sasuke sneered, he could see Uzumaki Naruto, obviously didn't understand what it meant. Uzumaki Naruto became furious, grabbed Sasuke's collar, and said angrily, why are you laughing, bastard? Laughing at you stupid. Uchiha Sasuke raised the corner of his mouth, looked at Uzumaki Naruto lightly with a cold smile on his face. Damn it. Uzumaki Naruto gritted his teeth angrily. Naruto, let go of Sasuke. Haruno Sakura rolled up his sleeves and punched Uzumaki Naruto hard. Bang! Uzumaki Naruto was knocked to the ground, clutching the red envelope above his head, and looked at Haruno Sakura with an aggrieved face. Little Sakura, why are you protecting Sasuke? Oh my god, children can understand. Shizun looked at the 7th class in the distance, with a speechless expression on his face, and muttered, Mr. Lu Xing is always there, what do you teach them? Young people need to be energetic. There is no need to stop them next time. Communication with dead hands will also promote growth. Yagyu Satoru appeared out of nowhere, picked up Tsunade on the ground, and looked at the frolicking class 7, satisfied smiled. Everyone in the 7th class was speechless, advised students to communicate with each other. Is there such a teacher? Probably just Yagyu Satoru. Shizun walked towards Yagyu Satoru quickly, seeing that Tsunade was fine, he secretly breathed a sigh of relief, and then asked suspiciously, Mr. Lu Xing, Orochimaru. Yagyu Satoru recalled the picture of Inin village that he saw just now, and smiled lightly. The ninjas in Inin village are very powerful, most of the ninjas in Inin village respect Orochimaru, but there are also a small number of people who hate Orochimaru from the bottom of their hearts. As for Orochimaru now, should it be pain, or happiness? It doesn't matter anyway, bar. Shizun didn't ask any more questions, because she already understood what had happened to Yin Snake, the soul of a man, the body of a woman, Orochimaru, one of the legendary 3, it's miserable. Teacher Lu Xing, is this Master Tsunade? Everyone in the 7th class walked towards Yagyu Satoru, and they looked at Tsunade curiously. That's right, she is Kazuna. Yagyu Satoru glanced at the sleeping Tsunade, and said with a faint smile, the cutest woman in the whole ninja world, with a good temper, a good personality, and a nice person. Shizun has nothing to say, Tsunade is indeed a nice person, but has a good personality and a good temper. Tsunade can smile and cripple people with one punch, is this good-tempered? Do you have a filter in the eye of the beholder? It's so beautiful. Haruno Sakura looked curiously at Tsunade, who was hugged by Lu Xing, perfect figure and cute face. In particular, Haruno Sakura moved her eyes, staring at Tsunade's soft and large bust. She touched her flat bust, feeling a sense of inferiority in her heart. The gap is huge. No wonder teacher Lu Xing likes Master Tsunade very much. The legendary Sannin. Uchiha Sasuke thought to himself, since Tsunade is one of the legendary Sannin, then his strength should be very strong, right? But judging from the performance just now, Tsunade doesn't seem to be that powerful. Teacher Lu Xing is still stronger. Cut. Uzumaki Naruto folded his hands on his chest, and said with a displeased face, is she the new Hokage? It looks very weak, not as powerful as the main grandpa at all. There are flies. Yagyu Satoru raised his hand and slapped Uzumaki Naruto away. Teacher Lu Xing, you bastard. Uzumaki Naruto flew out into the air, rolled several times, and landed heavily on the ground. Sasuke and little Sakura shook their heads, sighed secretly, oh. Naruto, the idiot, is hopelessly stupid. Master Tsunade is teacher Lu Xing, the most beloved woman. Say Master Tsunade is weak in front of teacher Lu Xing. This is looking for a beating. Who is this sister? Haruno Sakura looked at Shizun beside him with a very polite attitude. Are you the students in class 7? Hello, I'm. Shizun replied politely. Before he finished speaking, Yagyu Satoru pointed at Shizun, and said flatly, she is Shizun, Kazuna's follower. Mr. Lu Xing. A trace of anger appeared in Shizun's eyes, and he glared at Yagyu Satoru. Introduce her like this in front of the children, then what will she do in the future, to establish an image in front of the children? Yagyu Satoru pointed to everyone in the 7th class, and said with a light smile, as for these little brats, they can be regarded as my troublemakers. The corners of the mouths of everyone in class 7 moved slightly. Which teacher would introduce that his students are oil bottles? Powerless to complain. That's the end of the pleasant introduction, and it's time for condemnation. Yagyu Satoru glanced at Shizun indifferently, with a hint of sarcasm in his tone. Pig girl, I know you are weak, but there is no need to be so weak, right? With you by my side, will Xiaojiang still be in danger? Yagyu Satoru pointed to the pink pig next to him, smiled slightly. You have been downgraded, and you will eat the same bowl of feed as this stupid pig in the future. If he didn't show up today, he would show up in time. Tsunade is probably in danger. Golu golu. The pink piggy tilted his head in a very humane way. Sorry. Shizen bit his lips lightly, did not refute Yagyu Satoru's accusation, and slowly clenched his fists, secretly vowing to become stronger. Too much. Haruno Sakura felt sorry for Shizen for a second. Yagyu Satoru touched Shizen's small head, pretending to be comforting, and said, "It's okay, don't be discouraged, the weak also have the way of the weak." Thank you. Shizen's mouth moved slightly. Yagyu Satoru hasn't changed, still so annoying. Is this comforting? This is further irony. In the past, Yagyu Satoru sneaked out to go to Oiran Street every night, and she helped Yagyu Satoru cover in front of Tsunade. Even if there is no credit, at least 2.9 has hard work, right? Never mind, she is used to it. After all, he was always bullied by Yagyu Satoru before. Let's go, I have a place. Lu Xingyu left with Gang Min in his arms. Haruno Sakura tugged at the corner of Shizen's clothes, and said comfortingly, "Miss Shizen, don't pay attention to teacher Lu Xing's words. In fact, he has a sharp mouth and a bean-curd heart." I think teacher Lu Xing has a sharp mouth and a sharp heart. Uzumaki Naruto covered his red and swollen face, and stared fiercely at Yagyu Satoru's back. You deserve it. Haruno Sakura said angrily, "Stop talking about Master Tsunade, or the other side of your face will be swollen. Little Sakura, please feel sorry for me." Uzumaki Naruto said aggrievedly. The 7th squad chased Yagyu Satoru, and they went to a hotel on Bamboo Street. P.S. Ask for flowers, ask for monthly tickets, ask for evaluation tickets, kneel down.